All right, let's get into it. Untapped lead sources for local service businesses. I say untapped here. It might not be untapped for everybody, but I have realized lately that it is truly an untapped lead source for a lot of local businesses that are unfamiliar with this tactic or this method. So I will get into that in a second. I will save my full intro to the end because I know everyone is ready to know what this lead source is. I can save my intro for later if anyone cares. So we'll jump right in here into this blog post that I've written. I've got it on my website at unlockedagency.com, and we'll use this blog post as a little bit of a guide here. I won't read this word for word, but we'll let this kind of guide us through. So like it starts out here with phone calls, messages, all from people looking for the exact service you offer. Reasonable costs, profitable costs. Sounds too good to be true, right? And like I said, no, it's not. In many cases, this is a fantastic lead source. And what is that lead source? Cue the drum roll. It is local service ads by Google, or LSAs for short. It is local service ads are they're different than the standard text ads that we're all familiar with. That's been a thing for 20 years at this point. These are slightly different, and again, like I said, not every small business, local service business, even knows they exist. That kind of dawned on me recently. I was helping a current client, and I don't think everyone knows this is a thing. So I think I'm hoping this sheds some light on this for more people, or for more local businesses. So let's jump in. So what this is, this ad type. I mean, it's been around for about 10 years now. Interestingly, in some form or another, it's obviously it's evolved over the years. At first, it only launched to a few select markets and into a few very strict categories. Like it wasn't for any and every business at first. But in 2023, you'll see here like there was another 70 plus different types of businesses that are now eligible to run these type of ads. So we're talking, and this isn't a full list, of course, but just some examples here. Just chiropractor, dentists, barbershops, auto repair, even lawyers. I mean, lawyers are using this extensively in my experience. So as of right now in 2025, there probably isn't a business that isn't. If you're like a local service, small business, the chances are you're eligible for this, unless you're like super niche and it's not available yet. But most likely it fits, or your category fits. So that's a good thing, and I guess honestly, like I said, it's been around for so long, but because up until 2023, it was definitely more restrictive in terms of what categories were allowed. I think that's part of the reason why it's not as well known for every small business. So now, obviously, the main benefit of these is, like I said earlier, leads, at a reasonable cost, true new business at a profitable cost, that sort of thing. That's obviously number one. That's benefit number one. But something that actually comes up quite often is current clients and potential clients. They bring up the question is like, how do I get that Google badge, that Google guaranteed badge that they'll see that in results. And that looks like this right here, basically, is kind of an example quickly. But, you're basically, someone's going to jump onto Google and they're going to do the best home remodeler near me, right? Or best fence builder near me, and this type of ad can show up, and this Google Guaranteed badge comes along with it. And so that catches people's eye. As you can imagine, that's very eye-catching, right? It kind of stops you in your tracks, especially if you've never seen it before. I mean, and so the question always is like, how do I get that? I want that. And a lot of times, that person asking is running traditional search ads that we've all known forever, right? They're not running this type of ad, and so so that's a whole discussion around how to get it. Does it make sense for your business? That sort of thing. But anyway, that is a very big sought after thing here is getting that badge. Now, like I say here, as you can imagine, Google is not going to throw around this Google Guaranteed badge for nothing, right? You're going to jump through hoops. Like, let's be honest here. There is a very extensive background checks that go on your business as a whole, you as a business owner, and then even your employees, right? So Google uses a number of third-party verification services, and you need to provide a number of documents and a lot of different things to just verify you're legit, your license where you're doing business at, those sorts of things, right? So just know that up front, that there is some work to be done to get this going right now. But as I go forward, as we get deeper into this, you will see that it's worth it. I think for most of you watching this video, if you're a local service business, you're a small business, you're looking for new leads, it's worth the time and effort, based on my experience on helping a number of clients with these over the past two-ish years now. So we'll get back into the qualifications here in a second, but I will say, so one thing that I made clear here in this blog post is that I do think that this ad type can work for most small businesses, right? Now I say it's untapped again. That's kind of a clickbait type of thing, but like I said, it is untapped for many business owners that don't know about this right now. For this to truly be, in my opinion, right now, I know some people might watch this and disagree, but in my opinion, for this to truly be as groundbreaking, if you will, or for it to truly be untapped, like I think there's a number of points here that I call out in this blog post that I've identified. And so number one here is, if you're a small business owner, you're a local service business who has a Google business profile already, and you already have a number of great reviews, right? You're averaging four stars plus, 4 to 5 stars, already off to a fantastic start. And I'll get into why that makes sense in a second. Another important part of this, for it to really truly work great, is you're watching that profile. You're watching it like a hawk. You're responding to comments, positive or negative. That is very important too, because that's a big part of the engagement on these Google profiles that Google's algorithm watches for. And then point 3 here, you're in a small-ish town, you're in a small city. Now again, I can already hear someone saying, no, that's not true, this could work anywhere. Yes, I'm not saying that this can't work in like a big metro, because it does. Like there are plenty of people running these in big metro areas. But for this to fit the theme, to fit the untapped theme here, these are the 3 things that I think are really needed to make this really take off. And the reason why I say, like, I bring up the small town or the small cities, because you're likely, you could be the only one, or you could be like one of 3 businesses in your category running these, right? Now, it's not guaranteed. I can't say that for sure, but it depends on where you're at, and but there's a good chance that you might be able to really clean up here, is what I'm saying here. So now, I go into some more clarification here, but I think I've basically covered that already. Like, I'm not saying that this doesn't work, can't work anywhere, right? It generally will, but for this to really be consistent, a consistent lead driver, I think those 3 points really need to be in place, right? Or I would strive for that. Let's put it that way. Now, these 3 points are directly, I'm pulling that directly from a particular example client that I'm working with right now. They have outstanding reviews. They have 100% 5-star reviews. I think that up to 200, I think. 200 might not sound crazy, but this is small. We're talking small town. So, more than 100 reviews, all 5-star, responds immediately to them, to the reviews. And like I said, small town. So he's really cleaning up in his category. Like he's really dominating. And so what's happening is this is what like a week looks like in his inbox, right? This is a screenshot from. I've filtered to the emails coming from local services, or the local service ads. You can see here, it's like new call from potential customer. These are the emails that he's getting from people reaching out for potential new business based directly via these local service ads. I would imagine, if you're a local service business out there, you want to wake up to things like this, right? You want this in your inbox. So this is what really kind of made the light bulb go off. I'm like, wait, I think more people need to know about these. So now going back to the point of stellar reviews too, right? So what we did, and this is, let's just say you don't fit all 3 criteria there. Maybe you don't have a Google business profile now. Maybe your reviews aren't necessarily that great, or you haven't received reviews in quite a while. You need to start working on that now, right? Let's get that in place now, because again, I'll and I make it bold here in the blog here. The reason why you want to have those stellar reviews is because your Google business profile, that is your ad when it comes to this ad type. Like, you're not writing ad copy, you're not adding images. As of this point in 2025, this ad type could change in the future, but as of right now, as of this filming, your ad is essentially just your information from your Google business profile. So if you can imagine, let's just say your local service ad is sitting right next to someone else who does the same exact business or the same exact job type, right? You have maybe, let's just say you've got 10 reviews that are averaging 3 stars. The ad right next to you, the person right next to you might have, like I said, for this particular example, 200 reviews, and they're all 5 stars, right? So which one do you think people are clicking on, right? So that's why I'm making this very clear that, I'm not saying this can't work for everybody, but there is a clear way as of right now to really clean up on this ad type and really, like right here, fill up that inbox with potential leads, right? So now the interesting thing is, now as these leads come in off of these ads and he gets the jobs done, well, he continues to do fantastic work. And what happens now is that he continues to build off of the reviews he already had, right? So I'd say a good year before we even started the local service ads, he had worked on this profile, or this Google business profile. He worked up organically, just getting some jobs slowly over time and getting those reviews. Well, now these reviews are just building on top of that, and he's getting more at a quicker rate because he's doing these jobs as these leads come in from these ads, right? So he's getting these type of emails coming through as well. So, and it's just, I mean, like I said, he's really cleaning up here in his area, right? And again, not saying this can't work in a big metro. You know, I'm not saying you should tune out, but you know, definitely, I'm hoping your ears are perking up if you are in a smaller type of area, and you know, maybe you're niche enough where there's not a lot of competitors, but you're still enabled. Your category is still enabled to run these type of ads. In my opinion, it's a no-brainer to give it a test. Right, start testing this out. Now, I'd say probably the last point here, and I kind of buried this. Honestly, this is probably should have been at the top, but something about this ad type is you only pay for qualified leads. And when I say qualified here, this is a little bit of a shift going on here, where it's like Google is now kind of relying on some automated recordings, if it's a phone call, to kind of determine if this is like if it's a legit lead or not. So, for example, let's just say someone does a search for a service, and your ad pops up. They start messaging you about a specific service, and it's not anything that you do, right? It's not listed in your profile that you do it, and for whatever reason, you know, your ad was shown, because it'll happen from time to time. Google's not always going to get it right. And if that happens, again, like I said, this is a little bit of, there's a potential change going on here, but as of right now, you can go in and kind of say, all right, no, this lead wasn't relevant. I shouldn't be charged for this lead, right? So that there's that part of it. And then Google is, like I said, they're starting to shift a little bit to making it more automated, where they can tell if the lead was legit or not, which has its own pros and cons there, but anyway, it is a benefit. As of right now, it is a benefit that you're not going to get charged for leads that are just completely irrelevant, right? So that's another very big benefit here. So now, I would say, again, I think this makes sense for a lot, the majority of local businesses out there. You know, no matter what, if you've got a great Google business profile or not, I still think, I'm hoping this kind of uncovers a little bit here, or starts to get your gears moving a little bit and start thinking about this. But like I said, be prepared, because it is a process, right? You will be providing documents and proof of business and background checks on you and your employees and things like that. So be prepared for that, because that has been a surprise for many clients in the past. I will say that. So I think that's about it. For anyone who wants to stick around, I'm working through a way to build more of an automated management of this process for a couple of clients right now. And so what I mean by that is, like, if we go back to the screenshot of all those leads coming in to the inbox, well, that's starting. If it's coming in enough, it's starting to get hard to manage and stay on top of, because that's part of it too, right? You need to stay on top of these leads. You got to respond. You know, and if you're the person out doing the work in the field, that's very difficult, right? So that is a very real concern right now for a couple of my clients. And so we're looking at ways to automate some of this and start bringing those leads into a database, and starting to set up some automated kind of, you know, hey, this job is done, or this job isn't done. You know, adding them to their CRM, just to have it for their own business, you know, file keeping, and you know, reaching back out later, right? Maybe there's a scenario where we want to reach back out to clients who in 6 months to a year, and say, hey, you know, I'll come back and do another job here, and here's 30% off, right? There's a lot of ways that we could work on that, and make this a little easier for them. So that's in the works. I will probably do another video about that whole process once that's done. So, and then yeah, just if anyone is still sticking around at this point, like I said, I saved the intro to last because I think no one really, most people just want to know what this untapped lead source is. But if you're still around and you care about who I am, I just want to make sure I do also give a little bit of background and proof on who I am. I'm not just some random, well, I am a random person to you, but I want to tell you why I'm talking to you and I'm qualified, in my opinion, to be giving you this information. So I've been doing Google Ads for 10 plus years now. I would say I'd call myself a veteran at this point, Google Ads veteran. During the day, I actually help run a paid search team. And then sort of I do some of this consulting here and there. I've got a couple clients who kind of grandfathered in, who I've been working with for years, literally years. But mostly, I'm helping run that team during the day, but I feel like I have a lot of knowledge. I haven't done this YouTube thing. I should have been doing this YouTube thing for this whole time. Would have quite a library of videos on this channel by now, but I feel like I've got some knowledge that I want to share. I've got plenty about me on my website here at unlockedagency.com. I actually created a Reddit subreddit called AdWords Beginners, back when it was called AdWords still, years and years ago. We do have about 1,000 members. It's not, it's not as an active channel as much as it used to be. Honestly, I think because of the name AdWords, I should say no one. It's still called AdWords by some people, but I know I always cringe when someone still calls it AdWords. But I can't change the title. Reddit doesn't allow you to change it, so I'm kind of stuck. I do get some questions coming through still from time to time, and I do like to jump in and help out. So that's been a thing. And then I found this recently on the Wayback Machine, August 7th, 2015. So almost 10 years ago. I was featured in this 20 PPC experts reveal the secrets to winning at Google AdWords. There's AdWords again. And the hilarious thing is I'm way down here. Look at this baby face here. Yeah, this is me back when I was using the Preeminent Productions as my consulting name. So 10 years ago, I was talking about Google Ads or AdWords at the time. So I've been doing it a while. I love it. A lot has changed, obviously, in 10 years. But anyway, just wanted to also include that just for, I know some people like to kind of get background on some of these YouTubers, if you will, or I'm certainly people on YouTube. I shouldn't call myself a YouTuber, but so that's it. If you have any questions, I'm here to help. Leave a comment if you want, or head over to unlockedagency.com if you want. Just reach out. I love helping. Like I said, I do this stuff all day long, and even after the workday, I'm still doing things like this. So I'm a nerd for this stuff. So hopefully you found this helpful, and I'll end it there. Thanks.